had a great time exploring the solar system with you so far, and we're not done yet. If you've been joining us for the past few weeks, then you've gotten to meet all 8 of the planets, the 4 rocky planets and the 4 gas giants. And we've also explored some of the smaller objects that are flying around the solar system, like asteroids and comets. But there's so much more to explore, including some things that, when it comes to their size, are kind of in between. They're smaller than planets, but they're bigger than asteroids. Scientists call them the dwarf planets. Dwarf planets are actually a lot like regular planets. They all have basically a round shape, and they travel in a path around the sun. But unlike regular planets, dwarf planets are much smaller, and their trip around the sun is probably a lot bumpier. That's because while planets like Earth or Jupiter have a clear path around the sun, dwarf planets' paths are full of lots of other stuff, like asteroids. Think of orbits around the sun as being like lanes on a highway. Regular planets have a lane pretty much all to themselves, but dwarf planets are always sharing their lanes with lots of other things that are moving around with them. So that's what makes a dwarf planet different from a regular planet: its size and the amount of stuff that's around it. Even though dwarf planets are smaller than regular planets, they're just as exciting to learn about. Let's check out some of these dwarf planets up close. Squeaks, grab the telescope. So far, astronomers have named 5 dwarf planets, most of which are very far from Earth. All but one of them are in an icy area way past Neptune called the Kuiper Belt. First up is Pluto. Pluto, located just beyond Neptune, is probably the most famous of the dwarf planets. That's because it was the first object way out there that was discovered, and for a long time it was actually considered to be a regular planet. But then, scientists discovered lots of other planet-like things farther out in the solar system than Pluto, and they were orbiting the sun too. Some of these objects were even a little bigger than Pluto, and they all had a bunch of other space rocks cluttering up their orbits. So scientists realized that Pluto was just one of many objects out there, and they decided that Pluto really wasn't a planet like Venus or Mercury, but instead it was a dwarf planet. But Pluto is still super interesting. Because it's so far from the sun, it's one of the coldest places in the solar system. Temperatures can dip as low as 225 degrees below zero. So you'll definitely need your mittens if you go to Pluto. Next up is Haumea. Because Haumea spins really fast, a single day on this dwarf planet is also really fast, just 4 hours. Astronomers think Haumea collided with another large object a long time ago. A crash like that might explain why it spins so fast, and also why it has a more oval shape than the other dwarf planets. Moving on to Makemake. Because this dwarf planet was discovered around Easter time, astronomers once nicknamed it Easter Bunny. Like the other dwarf planets we've seen, Makemake is also super cold. It's very bright too, because there's lots of shiny ice on it, and thanks to some of the chemicals on its surface, it actually looks kind of pink. Look how pretty it is. Next up is Eris. Eris is the biggest dwarf planet in the solar system. It's just a little bit bigger than Pluto, and it even has its own tiny moon. And our last dwarf planet is a little closer to home, Ceres. Ceres is the closest dwarf planet to the sun, located in the asteroid belt, that big band of space rocks flying around between Mars and Jupiter. In addition to being closer to us than the rest of the dwarf planets, Ceres is also the smallest of them. It's so small that scientists consider it to be both a dwarf planet and a really big asteroid. The coolest thing about Ceres is that it's also the first dwarf planet to be visited by a spacecraft. The spacecraft, called Dawn, didn't have any astronauts on it. It was more like a robot that took a lot of measurements and amazing pictures, which has given us the closest look we've gotten at a dwarf planet yet. Scientists hope that by studying Ceres, they'll be able to learn more about all of the dwarf planets. And even though they've only named 5 dwarf planets so far, experts think that they'll soon find hundreds more of them in our solar system. So Squeaks and I might have many more worlds to explore with you in the years to come, and I can't wait. And if you have a question or just something that you'd like to learn more about, let us know by leaving a comment or emailing us at kids@thescishow.com. See you next time, guys.
Good afternoon, class. Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you today? We are all fine. Well, that's nice to hear. May I know who are absent this afternoon? None, ma'am. Okay, very good that all of you are present. Did I give you an assignment class meeting? None, ma'am. Okay, very good. So before we proceed to our discussion, I have here the classroom standard that you need to follow during our class discussion. what will be your answer? Can you make pictures here? Right, then you will paste your answer here. Okay. Who will be the next volunteer? Miss EY? You need pop to balloon. You may read your statement. The farthest planet from the sun and is also classified as an ice giant. How about the next volunteer, Miss Jenica? The seventh planet from the sun and is classified as an ice giant. Uranus. Okay. How about the next volunteer, Miss Irene Brito? The closest Ms. Gutierrez? I learned it from schools and any books that I read about solar system. Yes, very good. Then, do you think that aside from these 8 planets in our solar system, there are still other planets in the solar system? Do you know that there are other planets in the solar system? No. Okay, since no, we will explore the other solar system the other dwarf planets in our solar system through watching video. Then I will group you into 4 groups. This will be the group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4. Then this will be your guide questions. Everybody, please read. What is dwarf planets? What are the characteristics of dwarf planets? How many moons does Pluto have? What are the characteristics of Pluto? How long Pluto takes its complete rotation and revolution? What are the characteristics of Ceres and Haumea? How long Ceres and Haumea takes its complete rotation and revolution? What are the characteristics of Meg and Eris? How long Meg and Eris takes its complete rotation and revolution? Okay, after you are done answering this, you will pick 1 or 2 representatives in each group. Then this will be your materials. For group 1, are you ready to watch the video now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, for group 1, who will be your representative? Good afternoon, everyone. And our assigned task is, what is dwarf planets? What are the characteristics of dwarf planets? And how many moons does Pluto have? A dwarf planet has two orbit the sun directly, and it is also large enough to have a round or spherical, fascicle, and shape. Pluto have 5 moons. These are the Charon, Styx, Nix, Cerberus, and Hydra. Okay, let's give 5 claps to group 1. Okay, for group 2, who will be your representative? Okay, good afternoon, ma'am. So our questions. What are the characteristics of Pluto? The characteristic of Pluto: surface composition, surface temperature, atmospheric composition. Surface composition has nitrogen, ice, methane, and carbon monoxide with a rocky core. While surface temperature, please identify degrees. And as atmospheric composition has 10 atmosphere of nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide. How long Pluto take its complete rotation and revolution? The full rotation 614 Earth days, while the full revolution in 248 Earth years. That's all. Okay, let's give 3 claps to group 2. How about the group 3? Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, classmates. So we are the group 3. Our assigned topic for number 1 is, what are the characteristics of Ceres and Haumea? Our answer is, characteristics of Ceres and Haumea is surface Ceres composition, water, ice, and various minerals. And second, surface temperatures around 105 Celsius. Atmosphere composition, no significant Haumea. Surface composition, crystalline water, ice. Temperature, very cold. Atmosphere composition, thin and composed nitrogen. For number 2, how long Ceres and Haumea take its complete rotation and revolution? Our answer is, Ceres rotation takes 9 hours and 4 minutes. Ceres revolution takes 9.46 Earth years. The Haumea rotation takes 4 hours. Haumea revolution takes 283 years. Okay, very good. Let's give 3 claps to group 3. How about the group 4? Our assigned question are, what are the characteristics of magnet and Eris? The characteristic of magnet, surface of maki-maki, I mean surface composition, methane, and nitrogen, ice, while the surface temperature extremely low, atmosphere composition, pen with methane. The Eris surface composition is ice and rock, surface temperature extremely cold, atmosphere composition consists of nitrogen. How long Maki-Maki and Eris takes its complete rotation and revolution? Maki-Maki rotation takes 22.5 hours. Maki-Maki revolution takes 309 Earth years. Eris rotation takes about 25.9 hours, and Eris revolution takes about 558 Earth hours. Okay, very good. Let's give 3 claps to group 4. Okay, class. In this activity, did anyone have an idea what is the lesson that we are going to discuss today? Gutierrez? The lesson that we are going to discuss today is about, I think, dwarf planets. Okay, very good. Our topic for today is all about dwarf planets. Okay, class, let us first know the learning objectives that you need to attain during this lesson. Everybody please read. Objectives. At the end of the lesson, the pupils are expected to do the following. Discuss the characteristics of the known dwarf planets in the solar system. Draw a solar system and locate and label the dwarf planets and explain the importance of the dwarf planets as the members of the solar system. Okay, in order to attain these objectives, I want you to participate and cooperate well in our activities. Is that clear, class? Yes, ma'am. Okay, in the previous activity, did anyone have an idea what does dwarf planet means? Miss EY? Dwarf planet has to orbit the sun directly. It's also large enough to have a round or spherical physical shape. Okay, very good. Everybody, please read what is dwarf planet. Dwarf planet has to orbit the sun directly. It also must be large enough to have a round or spherical physical shape. Okay, according to the International Astronomical Union, a dwarf planet is a celestial body that orbits from the sun, and it has enough mass to assume nearly a round shape, and it has not cleared the neighborhood to orbit around the sun, and it also has not a moon. Then, what do you think are the characteristics of dwarf planets? Miss Gutierrez? The characteristics of a dwarf planet is their size is significant enough for gravity to have rounded or shaped substantially, and this means they have enough mass for gravity to pull them into a roughly spherical shape. Okay, very good. Everybody please read what are the characteristics of dwarf planets. Their size is significant enough for gravity to have rounded or shaped substantially. This means they have enough mass for gravity to pull them into a roughly spherical shape. Okay, now the dwarf planets consist of 5 dwarf planets. Now, what are the 5 dwarf planets in our solar system? Miss Vito?
The 5 dwarf planets in the solar system are Pluto, Ceres, Eris, Makemake, and Haumea.
Yes, very good. The 5 dwarf planets in our solar system is Pluto, Ceres, Eris, Haumea, and Makemake. Now, let us know first on what is Pluto. Now, class, what is Pluto? Did anyone have an idea what is Pluto? Miss EY?
Pluto was once considered the ninth planet in our solar system, but was reclassified as a dwarf planet in 2006.
Yes, very good. Let's give 3 claps to EY. Also, Pluto was named by a Roman god of the underworld. Now, what do you think are the characteristics of Pluto? Miss Jenica?
The characteristics of Pluto are the following. Surface composition comprised of nitrogen, ice, methane, and carbon monoxide with a rocky core. Surface temperature range from -375 degrees to 225 degrees Celsius. to negative 40 to 240 degrees Celsius. Atmosphere composition, 10 atmosphere of nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide.
Okay, very good. The characteristics of Pluto, the surface composition, it comprises of nitrogen ice, methane, and carbon dioxide with rocky core. And the surface temperature of Pluto ranges from negative 375 degrees Fahrenheit and the Celsius is 225 degrees Celsius and up to negative 400 degree Fahrenheit and the Celsius is negative 240 degree Celsius and the atmosphere composition of Pluto is thin atmosphere of nitrogen and methane and carbon dioxide. Now, how many moons does Pluto have? Okay, Miss EY?
Pluto have 5 moons. These are the Charon, Styx, Kerberos, and Hydra moons.
Very good. The 5 moons of Pluto are Charon, Styx, Nix, Kerberos, and Hydra. Okay, class. How long Pluto takes its complete rotation and revolution? Miss Gracie?
Pluto takes approximately 6.48 Earth days to complete one full rotation, and the revolution Pluto takes about 248 Earth years to complete its orbit around the Sun.
Yes, very good. Let's give 3 claps to Miss Gracie. So it means a day on Pluto lasts about 6.4 Earth days. And in terms of revolution, this means that a year in Pluto is equivalent to about 248 years. Now, let us know the second dwarf planet, which is the Ceres. Now, class, what do you think is Ceres is? What is Ceres? Miss Rito?
Ceres is the largest object in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. It is considered a dwarf planet because it orbits the Sun, has enough mass to be nearly round, and has not cleared its orbit or other orbits.
Yes, very good. The Ceres is the largest object in the asteroid belt, which between the Mars and Jupiter. And it also orbits the Sun, and the mass is enough to be nearly round, but it has also not cleared its orbit of the other difference. Now, class, what are the characteristics of Ceres? Miss EY?
The characteristics of Ceres are surface composition, surface temperature, and atmosphere composition.
Okay, very good. The characteristics of Ceres, the surface composition contains of water, ice, and various minerals. And the surface temperature is around negative 105 degrees Celsius. And the atmosphere composition, it has no significant data in the NASA. Now, class, how long Ceres takes its complete rotation and revolution? Miss Jinica?
Ceres takes about 9 hours and 4 minutes to complete a full rotation on its axis and turns of revolution around the Sun. Ceres takes about 4.6 Earth years to complete one orbit.
Okay, very good. Let's give 3 claps to Jinica. So this relatively fast rotation gives a Ceres a day of length of approximately 9 hours. So the revolution of Ceres is about 4.6 Earth years or about 1,600
characteristic of Eris are surface composition likely composed of ice and rock, surface temperature is estimated to be extremely cold, atmosphere composition, atmosphere likely consists of nitrogen.
Okay, very good. The characteristics of Eris are the surface composition is likely composed of ice and rock, and the surface temperature is extremely cold. And also the atmosphere composition is consists also of nitrogen. Now, how long Eris takes its complete rotation and revolution? Miss EY?
Eris takes about 25.9 hours to complete a full rotation on its axis, and the revolution around the sun. Eris takes about 558 Earth years to complete one orbit.
Okay, very good. Let's give 3 claps to Miss EY. So this means that Eris has a rotation period of approximately 25.9 hours, giving it relatively less day length compared to some other objects in the solar system. So this means that Eris has a revolution period of about 558 Earth years. Now, how about the next planet, which we call the next dwarf planet, which we call Haumea? What is Haumea? Miss Frito?
Haumea is a dwarf planet located in Kuiper belt. It is known for its elongated shape, resembling a flattened rugby ball. Haumea rotates rapidly, completing one rotation every 3.9 hours.
Okay, very good. Let's give 3 claps to Miss Frito. Now, class, what are the characteristics of Haumea? Miss Jenica?
Surface composition thought to be covered with crystalline water ice. Surface temperature likely very cold due to its distance from the sun. Atmosphere composition limited information but positive and composed of nitrogen.
Yes, very good. So the characteristics of Haumea, the surface composition is to be covered in crystalline water ice, and also the surface temperature is likely cold due to its distance from the sun. So the Haumea is farthest from the sun, and the atmosphere composition is composed also of nitrogen. Now, how long Haumea takes its complete rotation and revolution? Miss EY?
Haumea completes a full rotation on its axis in just about 4 hours. It turns of its revolution around the sun. Haumea takes about 283 Earth years to complete one orbit.
Okay, very good. Let's give 3 claps to Miss EY. And also, Haumea was discovered in 2003. Haumea became our 5th dwarf planet in 2018, and it is one of the fastest rotating large objects in the solar system. It was also named from the Hawaiian goddess of birth and fertility. Now, class, how about the last dwarf planet in our solar system? Okay, Miss Prito?
It is known for its reddish color and slightly smaller than Pluto.
Yes, very good. And what are the characteristics of Makemake? Miss Jenica?
Surface composition contains lithium and calcium nitrogen ice. Surface temperature is estimated to be extremely low. Atmosphere composition limited data but possibly with methane.
Yes, very good. And also the characteristics of Makemake is the surface composition contains of methane, ethane, and possibly nitrogen ice. And the surface temperature is estimated to be extremely low. And also the atmosphere composition is possibly with thin clean and methane. And also, the scientists found it shortly about after Easter in 2005. And Haumea is officially named from the Rapanui fertility god. The Rapanui are the native people of the Eastern Island. Now, how long Makemake takes its complete rotation and revolution? Okay, Miss Santander?
It takes Makemake about 22.5 hours to complete a full rotation on its axis. In terms of its revolution around the sun, Makemake takes about 309 Earth years to complete one orbit.
Okay, very good. Let's give 3 claps to Miss Santander. This means that Makemake has a rotation period of approximately 22.5 hours. And this means also the Makemake has a revolution period of about 309 Earth years. Now, class, why is it important to study the dwarf planets in our solar system? Miss Eva.
It is important to study the dwarf planets in the solar system by exploring dwarf planets. We can discover new information about their composition, structure, and formation, which contribute to our understanding of the solar system, history, and evolution.
Okay, very good. By studying the dwarf planets in our solar system, by studying their size, composition, and orbital properties, we will know the celestial body, and we can also understand the diversity of objects in our solar system. Now, class, do you have any questions, clarifications during our discussion?
No, ma'am.
Okay, since now we will have an individual activity. All you need to do is you are going to draw a solar system and locate and level the dwarf planets. So I have here the materials. And by doing this, I will only give you 3 minutes to finish it. But before that, this will be your criteria on reading your drawing. Everybody please read.
Criteria. Creativity, 10 points. Content, 10 points. Neatness, 10 points. Total or 30 points.
Okay, we'll start now. Are you done, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you may pass your questions?